Hey everybody, so this is Kara from Cheesy Nutrition, and I know that I'm always talking about meal planning and meal prep and making it seem like I'm always so happy to do it, and I won't lie, I do enjoy it because it gives me more time during my week. However, there are weekends where I think, you know what, I just really don't want to prep. That's it, okay? I just know I don't want to. So I kind of plan to not prep in a sense, but I'm gonna help you today by giving you three ways, so three different ways that you can use your freezer to kind of prep ahead, so that way that you have weekends where maybe you don't have to prep. Or you can use these things as tools on weeknights, maybe when something goes wrong, and that could be like the actual dinner doesn't come together quite right, or maybe even on days where you were supposed to get something out before work, you're halfway through your work day and you think, oh no, I forgot to get that out of the freezer. There's no way we're gonna be able to have that tonight. So instead of thinking, oh, okay, now we're gonna have to do takeout pizza, we're gonna have to get Chinese, we're gonna have to do whatever, you'll have stuff right in your freezer that you can throw together in no time. Okay, so three different ways that you can use your freezer. Okay, ready? Number one, so you can have already prepped meals, and you can do this in two different ways. First, this one's kind of hard to see. I didn't think about making a video when I packaged this, so I'll tell you what's in it. You can have a whole meal in one. So this is like a lunch for my husband, basically. We've got green beans on top here. There's mashed potatoes in there. And then, let's see if we can see it somewhere. I think right there, maybe you can see it. There's meatloaf in there, okay? So you have a whole meal just in one container. And I will admit this is plastic. I don't use a lot of plastic, but I did for whatever reason this time. Probably didn't have a different one available. But I just freeze it in a single meal. So all we have to do is put it in the microwave to defrost, or you can leave it in the fridge overnight to defrost, and then you can reheat it however you reheat. Whether it's microwave, just as is, you can put it on a plate and microwave it. You can put it in the stove. Depends on what it is and how you want to reheat it. So that's one option. Whole meal, one container, okay? The next is to have a meal for your entire family or whoever's gonna be eating with you all in one. So this is what is great for soup. I'm sure you've seen or tried this before. So in here, beyond the frost, is actually taco soup. Okay, so this is one where I literally just say, okay, we're gonna have taco soup, and this is more than one meal for us. This is a couple meals. But if you had maybe 3 or 4 people in your family, this is probably enough for one meal for everybody. I'm gonna set this down because that's glass and it's really cold. Okay, so there's your two choices for already done meals, basically as is. The taco soup, the only thing we do is crunch up tortilla chips on top, maybe add a little bit of plain Greek yogurt and some shredded cheese. So literally no prep. Heat, done. All right. The other thing you can do, and these are not necessarily meals, but if you are used to having some form of baked good during your week, whether it be for snacks or maybe with your lunch or maybe as a quick breakfast, there are things that freeze really well. So what I did, I'm gonna have you ignore what it says. It's not actually blueberry muffins. So I reused a bag, but in here I have banana bread. So the last time I made banana bread, I actually individually wrapped each piece. Okay, so that's kind of wasteful, but this is what I did and it seems to work for me, so I'm going with it for now. But you individually wrap each piece, but then you don't want to just throw that in the freezer because freezer burn will happen really fast. So I put them in another container, so a Ziploc in this case, again, not blueberry muffins because I reused the bag, but I'm gonna mostly close it and then try and get out as much air as I can. Okay, so now it is ready to go back into the freezer so that anytime I need a quick breakfast, so I add peanut butter on mine, or if I want something sweet after dinner, it's already done. All right, the next thing you can do that's already done, and it's a quick little snack, is cookies. So what I did is the same idea as with the banana bread, but I individually wrapped them either in 2s or 3s, and then I put them in a little container. I will say, if you have a lot of people in and out of your freezer, the bag for cookies may not be the best because if they get pushed under something, they're gonna get crumbly. So if you are the only one in your freezer, or usually the only one, this would be fine. But if not, maybe individually wrap them, then put them in like a little dish so that way they're safe. Or you can do what I do and get your old Amazon boxes and put them in your freezer to kind of create little compartments, I guess, without having to pay for freezer containers. There's a little tip and trick for you. All right, so that was my first category. Prepped things that you don't really have to do anything else with. Okay, so that's category 1. Category 2 are prepped ingredients that you can use to build other meals. Okay, so, sorry, my hair's crazy there. Okay, so first, I have a little bag. It's hard to tell. This is actually a little treat for the pup, but we have a bag here, and it is chicken. So it's literally just boiled chicken in a bag. Now I would show you the ones that we use for us, but we actually we have used our last one, so I can't really show you, but I'm gonna be prepping more of that soon and putting it in my freezer. And what I do is I actually use more like this size bag, so the quart, and I will put enough chicken in here that we will use for one meal or one recipe. And then I put date on it usually. Sometimes I forget, but I put the date on it so that way it doesn't get older than about 6 months. And then I just put it in the freezer in one of my Amazon boxes. And so it stays nice and organized. And then that way, anytime I need, say, 2 cups of cooked chicken in a soup that, you know, it's supposed to be already cooked, or like leftover rotisserie chicken, I just grab one of the bags of chicken. Oh, that's cookies. One of the bags of chicken, not for the pup, and I put it in our recipe. And that's it. So you can cook your protein ahead of time, and that could be meat or it could be beans. So a couple weeks ago, I actually did a whole pressure cooker pot of black beans because I really like black beans, and I love throwing them into things for a little extra protein, more filling, more fiber, just really good all around. But I don't want to have to cook this much every single time I want beans, right? So what I do is I cook a whole package, and then I separate them into small containers like this, and then I freeze them. So if I'm making soup, I just doop. All right. The other thing you can do that's a prepped component ahead of time is sauce. So this here is actually enchilada sauce. You can see how I froze it, right? So I put it in a bag, and then I put it flat in my freezer like this, and then as it freezes flat. So then, ooh, it's really cold. So then what I can do is put it in one of my little Amazon boxes all lined up nice and neat. And then every time we need one, I just grab one straight out the front because I put the newest ones in back. And so then I'm gonna take it and let it defrost, real cold. I'm gonna let it defrost and then use it in my recipe. So that's one more component you can do. Now let's look at a grain. So you can actually make things like brown rice ahead. So I've done this on video before. So see here, I've got brown rice. I put it in a gallon Ziploc bag. You might be able to fit it into a quart size, but I did a gallon because I like to get all the air out and then kind of like fold it over like this. It kind of makes it like a brick. I don't know that I could do it in a quart size bag. Maybe you could stack it like the enchilada sauce, but I find that these just stack really nicely like this. So that way when I put them in my freezer, they're just in there and ready to go. And I usually have brown rice and jasmine or basmati rice in there because we eat a lot of Indian food too. All right, I talked about all of my second category. Those are the prepped ingredients. They're already cooked, or they're already portioned out, or they're already whatever. And I'm really sorry if you can hear my washing machine in the background, but you already have these components already prepped. They're not gonna be a meal by themselves. Like, you're not gonna open up the enchilada sauce and eat it with a spoon. Well, I mean, you might, it's delicious, but maybe not the whole thing as your entire meal. You're gonna use it as a component. Okay, so remember, group 1 are the already prepped meals or cookies. Everything's already done. Option 2 is that it's cooked and it's pre-packaged, but it's not a full meal by itself. And then number 3, these are things that we put together that are not quite cooked yet, but we've already maybe washed them, cut them the way that they need to be, and packaged them so that we can cook them when we are ready for them. So the first one I'll show off, this one's not my invention here, but my parents actually buy delicata squash when they're in season, and they will cut them up, and this is how they would cook them. So kind of this like half moon shape. And then they're going to defrost and then put them onto a pan with just a little bit of oil, and then I'm gonna roast them, and they're delicious. So it's basically no prep, because the longest part of getting your vegetables ready is usually what? Right? The washing, the cutting, the prepping, getting out the seeds if there are any. So this eliminates all of that, okay? Because it's already done. And basically you do a big batch at once, or at least try to, because then you take out like the washing of the cutting board and the prep that goes into it. You get all of that done at once instead of each and every time you want some, okay? So what else do we have that fits into this category? These look kind of funny, but you'll recognize them. You can do this with bananas. They're not furry, I promise. They just froze weird. Okay, probably because I put them in like the instant freeze section of my freezer. But you can have bananas already ready. So what I did is I have 2 bananas in here, which is enough to make some banana bread. And so when I'm ready, I can make banana bread, or maybe I can make banana cookies, or banana ice cream, or nice cream, whatever it's called. Okay, but it's already ready. And if I really needed to, I could probably pull them apart because I froze them separately. Okay? Next, I have 2 more things in this category. You will recognize one from last week, and one you won't recognize, but you saw the done version of it. So this is, again, not a meal, but a raw component that makes your life easier later on. Last week I made cookies, but I had some dough left over. So remember what I did is I froze them on a plate, not in the bag, on a plate, and they weren't touching. And then once they were frozen, I put them in my little bag here. So whenever I whenever I really need a couple of cookies, they're already ready. So I just have to pull them out and put them in my air fryer, because somebody told me last week that that works just fine. Could also do the oven if I wanted to do all 6 at once. And then my cookies are done. So I eliminate that whole like, oh, get the mixing bowl out, soften the butter, get the eggs to room temp, or whatever you gotta do. You eliminate all of that, and you eliminate almost all the dishes. So much easier, right? Kind of makes you want to make a double batch of cookies sometimes, so you can put, we'll put part of the other half in the fridge. The other half we eat, you know, you gotta sample it, right? The other way you can do it is make, not South Carolina, but you can make sugar cookies. So you can see I made sugar cookies back in July, and we wrapped these in little, I didn't weigh them. It's about 1/4 of the recipe of sugar cookie dough. So when we want to have sugar cookies and, you know, it's not time to make more sugar cookie dough, or I don't feel like it, I can just get this out and let it defrost, usually overnight, but probably only takes 2 to 3 hours. And then you just make your sugar cookies, and it works just fine. It's like if you've ever bought cookie dough from a fundraiser and you put the cookie dough in the freezer because you bought like 4 containers of it, and you're thinking, well, I probably shouldn't eat 4 big containers of cookie dough all at once. Same idea. So we are just freezing them as is, as cookie dough, not baked. But remember, you can do the baked ones too. Okay, so anyways, I had 3 categories today. So 3 ways that you can prep food ahead that however it meets your needs, or do a combination like I do. You can either do fully prepped things, so like soup, cookies. I even did meatloaf. Remember, I had like my whole frozen meal over here. You can do components like your beans or your rice. And you can do uncooked but ready to go things like vegetables and cookie dough. All right, so those are our 3 ways that you can use food in your freezer to help you get through those no-cook weeks. And I'm clearing off some space because, as usual, we need to have a little bit of fun at the end of our video, right? So, by popular request, we've got our friend here, a little kitchen. I was gonna call you a KitchenAid, but I think that's probably trademarked. Yeah? We're working on hay. Hay? Oh, you shy now. Hey? No, he's not having it. Well, anyways, my little kitchen helper here is here to tell you that he has been trying peaches, and he tried sweet potatoes, and this week I don't know what we're gonna try. Maybe eggs. Eggs seem like a good idea. Oh, we tried a little bit of whipped cream yesterday. We did because it was Mama's birthday, and one of her best friends made her a fancy chocolate roll cake with homemade whipped cream in the middle. So somebody got, yes, homemade whipped cream. That was the best, wasn't it? Yeah, pretty good. We actually have 2 teethers in there. Yeah, pretty exciting. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, we hope you have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week. And, whenever you're ready to do a no prep weekend, just check out this video again and see how you can make it happen. All right.
Okay.
Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.